So another round of applause for our talented cast and crew. Come on, come on. Perfect. We'll kick off this Q&A with Adam, of course. The storyline of him and her is truly unique and emotionally resonant, as we can all agree. Can you share some of the insights into the inspirations behind the narrative and how you approached blending music and storytelling in this project? You're going to... We would say that wasn't my fault. Adam's unprepared, obviously.
Sorry, I spent the whole time thinking about where my mic was. What were you saying?
I'm going to read the whole thing again.
I just want to hear you say it's emotionally resonant again. That's the real...
It was very emotionally resonant. The storyline of him and her is truly unique and emotionally resonant. Can you share some of the insights into the inspirations behind the narrative and how you approach blending music and storytelling in this project?
Yeah, I mean, that's quite, yeah, I guess. Yeah, I mean, like, inspiration-wise, I think we've all dealt with some kind of loss in our lives. I think I can speak for most people there. And that was just a huge inspiration for it, really. I was asked to do the film at a period where I just lost someone very close to me in my family, and it was one of those things where the synergy of me wanting to do something so dumb and stupid of, you know, setting a musical in the most inappropriate possible place, whilst also having this horrible, tragic loss going on. And then the synergy of realizing that, like I said in the behind-the-scenes thing, that actually funerals really should be celebrations of life, and you should be tap dancing on coffin, maybe not. But, like, there's, you know, it's like, I think, yeah, funerals should be a celebration of life, really. And rather than a sad mourning of the loss, I think it's definitely a more constructive way to be just kind of enjoying it and like enjoying the celebration of the fact that that person was here, celebrating the fact that they were here rather than mourning the fact that they have gone. And that was kind of the thought process. But the reason I wanted to do it through a musical was because I touched on it briefly in the documentary. I wanted to do something where I thought the music was integral rather than something where you could take the music out and replace it with dialogue and it would still work. I think the whole thing of this is party vibe, and I think the best way to kind of show that really was through music. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts.
Very good answer. It's like you prepared that, isn't it?
I haven't, but thank you.
Dave, are you ready for your first question?
Okay.
Him and Her delves into the emotional core of its characters. How did you use music to enhance and amplify the emotional impact of key scenes? And were there any specific challenges you encountered during this process?
Blimey, I'm not that deep, I'm afraid, Ryan.
Oh dear. Adam's stolen the spotlight for too long, that's why.
How to bring out the emotion of it, I don't know, I guess music really has that power, doesn't it, to affect your emotion, and it can change your mood in an instant. And I think quite often, if people are feeling down, putting on their favourite song can instantly change their state of mind. It's very, very powerful. It acts as an anchor for us. And so, but it's more, you just kind of want to try and figure out the mood that you're trying to convey and just make sure the music kind of tells that. And there's certain things that you could do with the musical score to bring out certain emotions. So when it needs to be sad, that's when the violins come in. Each of those, we never obviously couldn't afford the London Philharmonic Orchestra, but that was all done on MIDI, just like computer, but we individually played each of the strings.
I know what that means.
But we actually played each of the individual strings to kind of make it sound like it was a full orchestra. So we got those kinds of effects that way. I remember when we wrote Good Morning. And I remember it was just so random, like no other song we'd done before, and we finished it, and we went, is this good, or is it just shit? And it's only like when you play it in front of people that you really know that it kind of it gives the emotion that you wish that it gave, and we got quite lucky with it, I think. It worked. Each of the songs worked, like the fun one at the beginning to set the scene, the beautiful songs that ASHA wrote in the middle, they really kind of affected the mood, and the lifting one at the end. But I think a lot of it comes down to the songwriting as well. It was very easy to produce, for instance, ASHA's songs because the songwriting was so good. And Adam just kind of said, I want you to take ASHA's demo and make it sound like this song, which was already in existence. And I just kind of put the two together, really. So brilliant writers made my job very easy.
Right, well, that's what happens when you work with a talented cast and crew, isn't it? So crazy. Asha.
And Dave, of course.
And Dave, yeah, of course. Should have passed the mic down to Asha.
Oh, sorry, darling.
Pass the parcel over here. How did your experience as a singer-songwriter influence your approach to the musical aspects of Him and Her? Were there moments when your own musical style played a role in shaping the film's sound?
I feel that I was asked to write the song because Dave is just incredible at writing songs like Good Morning, and he's just, but that side of things, Adam had said that they'd struggled to kind of get the emotion across that they needed for songs like Lily and Holding Out for Rain. And, Adam and I had spoken about kind of, he gave me such a good brief and like what I needed to write about and stuff I needed in the song, and that was really helpful. And I feel that, as you could probably tell from my song earlier, it's quite depressing. And I love writing stuff like that. And I think it's probably, it was so cool. Like, as soon as Adam asked me, I was kind of waiting for it. I was really hoping he would. And then he messaged me one night and was just like, yeah, we really need you to do this. And it was like 3 a.m. I remember we were messaging and we were sending voice messages, and he said, how did you just shit that out of your ass at 3 a.m? like that was the message. And yeah, so I loved the whole process. It was amazing, and it gave me a chance to like kind of explore a different part of my career as well. Kind of makes me realize I love writing songs for other people. So yeah, it was great. Thank you.
Whoa.
Megan's up next.
Thank you.
Spotlight. As a choreographer, can you share any memorable or challenging moments from the set while working on Him and Her, and how did you overcome the obstacles and bring your artistic vision to life on the screen?
Well, not to sound like cringe or anything, but I think all of it was memorable. Like everything, obviously, like all the beforehand, everything that went into it. Like we did so many times you'd come over and we'd literally be like just talking like, oh, what are we gonna do? How are we gonna do this and stuff? So that was obviously memorable. All the practices that we had with all the girls. I think one challenge that we did have was obviously where we had so many dancers from so many different places in the country. So we had some from obviously Dorset and then up in Portsmouth as well. It was really hard with also the short time frame to be able to, well, teach all the girls of the dance, make sure they actually looked clean, make sure that everyone was, in unison. So that was a massive challenge. So we had to then set up rehearsals with all the girls down here, had to then try and take videos, but also trying to also say all the little nitty-gritty little bits that would just really enhance the whole dance. We're using all the different dynamics. That was really challenging, and then obviously it all came together at the end when we were at the church, when we did it for the first time, everyone all together, and all the girls are outside in their little hoodies and everything, trying not to stand on any graves, trying to put it all together, make sure that everyone had their heads like sharp on the same count, which, as the girls will know, was a very big, important thing that I kept saying. Heads on the same count. So that was a big challenge, but obviously all the girls were absolutely great, and it was just amazing. Everything was all memorable, but yeah, really good experience.
You should have seen Meg on the day. She was like a strict school teacher telling all the dancers.
I am. You might have heard me shouting
get in line.
In the behind the video. You can't see me, but if you heard going, yes, up, that was me. So, sorry, girls.
Jazz?
Oh.
Sorry.
No.
You had to be eventually.
Can I leave?
No, unfortunately not. Your portrayal of the character Lily in Him and Her, as we've just seen, was both powerful and emotive. How did you approach conveying the emotional depth of your character, and were there any personal connections or inspirations that influence your portrayal of Lily?
I'm not good with these questions, I'm not very articulate. I think the only personal sort of connection I had with it is that I've experienced death, which yes, myself personally. I am a very method actress. Thank you. Yes, I'm trying really hard. I'm a very method actress, as people may not know. So I think most of the time for filming as well, Adam was just like, the reason we cast you is because you're a smiley person. So I think that's the only sort of personable thing I can put in there. I'm smiley, like her, I guess. I don't really know. Everything else doesn't really match. I'm alive. Surprise!
We get to let Adam talk some more again.
Oh, great.
Unfortunately, sorry everybody.
Fantastic.
No, it's like, yeah, just a quick comment on Jazz. Like, obviously, like, she's amazing and wonderfully talented. And, like, the main reason I wanted to go with Jazz is because she's so, you know, radiant and smiley and happy. And it's, like, hard to be in a bad mood when you're around her. And that's the kind of person we wanted. We wanted someone like that to die. No, I mean, like, it's hard to hate, you know, the dead, smiley blonde girl, isn't it? So, there you go.
That direction was very different to your usual, where it's just, oh, you're
Shouting
so
at you.
ugly. Oh.
I don't know what she's talking about. Anyway, Ryan, what's your question?
So the real question is, film in a cold church environment, trust me, I was there, must have presented its own set of challenges. Can you share some memorable moments or challenges faced during the shoot and how your team overcame them to bring your vision to life?
Yeah, I mean, that church was so cold. Like,
It was
it's
really
genuinely, like, it's hard to describe how cold it was. It's cold. Yeah, it was colder in the church than it was actually outside.
You have to go outside to warm up.
Yeah. I got very ill.
Yeah.
I'll tell that. Should I tell that story? It's a bit
That's
gross.
how much Adam gives to his craft. He gets ill on set.
It's a bit of a horrible story, but I'll tell it anyway because it's funny. On the second day, so the first day, we filmed some of the opening stuff with Steve, the guy who plays the vicar, and then so we had extras on the first day and extras on the last day, and all the meat in between was the stuff where we shot things outside on like the log and stuff, and when the church is empty. Very clever storytelling device. If you can't get extras, make her close her eyes and go, "Oh my God, there's no one in this church." It's genius. Yeah, so on the second day, we had all of the cast staying in like an Airbnb house because they're all, you know, from London and whatever. So I was staying with them, and on the first night, I was like, I've got myself too cold. I think my brain has actually like frozen. I had like a migraine. I was not in a good place. I was also quite stressed as well because like a lot of people on set, as you can see, it's like quite overwhelming. And I decided, I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to go and do a little bit of sick now. In the evening, while we were at the thing, Jemima was in the shower upstairs, and there was no downstairs bathroom, but Luke, who was the guy who played Jeremy, Jemima was Elle, was making a coffee in the sink. So I kind of had nowhere to go. So I hope that Airbnb garden had a nice time with me in it. But no, it was a really grueling shoot just because of how cold it was. Like, it was tough to be in a good mood, but I think like given the nature of the story and how like much everyone cared about it and was working so hard on it, I think everyone was in relatively good spirits, weren't they? And if anyone says otherwise, I'll kill you.
If nothing else, it made for some good cinema. So,
This is
yeah.
true, this is very true.
Well, we're handing back to Dave now.
Well, there you go, mate.
Collaboration seems to be a central theme in the making of this film, with involvement from various artists, as yourself and ASHA, of course. Can you speak of the collaborative process, especially with other composers and lyricists, and how these partnerships influence the final product?
Yeah, I think it's always better to have more heads, more ideas, and it doesn't say you've got like 3 people working on something. I don't think it's just 3 times better. It's more than that, because somebody will then say something which will give you a better idea that you wouldn't have had before. I definitely couldn't have created a musical like that on my own. Adam was a real inspiration throughout the whole thing, and he was like the core of the song writing, really, because he was the constant throughout. So interestingly, I never actually wrote any of the songs with ASHA. Kind of Adam and I wrote some of the songs, and Adam and ASHA wrote some of the songs. And so Adam was really good at giving his vision of the lyrics and what needed to be told, what needed to be said. And as a songwriter, it's much easier to write a song on your own when you've got your own thoughts and feelings. Just sit down and kind of bash out a song. And sometimes the best songs come in like 10 minutes, half an hour. But when you're working with someone with a vision, you have to get inside their head, and then they have to tell you what they want. And then you go like this, and then they go, no, nothing like that. And then it's for 6 months, and then 6 months later, but it's also a bit like a wood carving as well, where you start with this block of wood, and you just slowly kind of shave it down and improve it and change words and change melodies, and eventually you end up with this kind of beautiful carving at the end. But it was a much lengthier process than we thought it was going to be, because he's so fussy, He wanted it just
I know.
perfect, yeah. But it was great. So a lot of the lyrical inspiration came from Adam, and actually through the process of creating Him and Her, I even taught Adam how to play the piano. So when we started Him and Her, you could play a little bit, but not that much. By the end of it, he could play the piano by ear, and he was a songwriter. So he went on a journey himself as a songwriter in it, and could probably quite easily write a musical like that on his own now, I would say.
Yeah, that's the plan. I was like, I don't want you anymore.
He's just stealing.
So I've had such a traumatic time with you guys.
Make sure you ask me about the postman in a minute. That's a good story.
The postman?
You could tell it now if you want.
Yeah, tell it now.
Go for it. Go for
My
it.
favourite part of the whole filming process. So we were in this village, this quaint little village, like imagine like Vicar of Dibley, and we were by this obviously the church, and then we were practicing lifting Stephen up onto the coffin because we didn't even know if we could do that. And because he had to tap dance on the coffin, we had to fill it with wood. Your dad, who's a builder, filled it with wood. So this coffin was already as heavy as a tree trunk. It was much, much heavier than a coffin. And then we had to put an actor on top of it and lift it above. So as we're walking down the aisle, we're not smiling. We're gritting, we're going, this is really heavy. And we had to go, take, do it again. Anyway, to cut a long story short, we had to figure out if we could actually lift Stephen up. So we were in the village outside. There was nowhere else to practice. We go, right, we've got to see if we can do this. Stephen, get on the coffin. He gets on the coffin. And we all lift him up. And right at that moment, this postman walks around the corner on his rounds. Goes, I just turned around and we never saw him again. It was brilliant. That's my favourite part of the whole thing.
I was inside for that, wasn't I? We were shooting something. Yeah. Damn.
It's the first time I've heard of this story, but I'm glad I have. I was going to say back to ASHA now. Sorry, pass it all the way back along again. Sorry, we sat in the wrong order. Of the two songs you composed for this project, is there a particular one that stands out to you as your favourite?
I think, well, actually it's really hard because I loved Holding Out for Rain because of the story behind it. But I think I was really proud of Lily because that was just like, I think it was portrayed exactly as I wanted it and as Adam wanted it. And I think we were both just so happy with the end result. But we have actually got another song that we wrote that we're playing after this, I guess.
You're ruining my intro for it.
That, you know, and I really like that one as well, actually. I think it's a really good... Am I allowed to say what it's about, or should I wait? Okay, cool.
Yeah, everyone keeps stealing my lines today, so it's fine. You can say it if you want. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I shouldn't be here. Sorry, it's back to Meg now. Again, we're passing all the way along. We sat in the wrong order, like I said. Stephen Serling was one of the standout performers in this film. What was it like working with him? That's the vicar for everyone who didn't know.
Yeah, the vicar. He is, and I'm sure everyone can agree, he is just amazing. Like, there is like no way to describe him. He's just like amazing. Like as soon as we went up back in February, before we started obviously shooting anything, we then did the day where we recorded all the songs, and that was the first time. Well, that was the first time I met him. I don't know about anyone else. And I remember the first time he did his song, it was literally like everyone in the room was just like, oh my gosh. And as soon as we heard that, I was like, okay, this is going to be good. This is going to be fun working with him. So that was like a great first impression. And he was just amazing. I don't know how else to explain it. He was so dedicated to the role, and he was a perfect fit as well. He was also very he was so dedicated to it. He really wanted to get everything right. So we then, on the night before filming the tap dance, we were staying at a travel lodge up in Portsmouth. Wow. Very classy. And he was too. So there's us at God knows what time of night. Adam sat on the bed just watching, and me and Stephen are there trying a tap, and I'm trying to teach him, and he was amazing. He just put in so much effort. And what I really love when I'm teaching people any kind of dance and stuff is when they have their own input. I very strongly believe that if I'm trying to teach someone something and they don't get it, or they don't think that is the right thing for them to do, I would rather they tell me and try and put their own spin on it, so then it feels more natural to them. So that's definitely a big thing as a choreographer that I believe in. And he was great at that. He was like, oh, I can't quite do that step on the coffin, so why don't I try and do this? I was like, yeah, perfect. So we kind of had that balance between us, me trying to say, why don't you do this? And then he was like, actually, I think it'd be better if I do this. And that is just, as a choreographer, that is the best thing that you want when you're trying to work with someone. So that was just amazing. And he was just great. Yeah, really, really good.
Yeah, it was definitely portrayed through the film, as I'm sure we can all agree, from that
Yeah,
scream in
definitely.
the middle, which was Dave. Back to jazz. Film's music played a crucial role in conveying emotions. As a performer, how did you connect with the music, and did it influence your interpretation of Lily's character and her emotional journey throughout the film?
Why do I get these questions? Everyone's, well, Stephen, I've got, so, your emotions now, in depth. It's like therapy. Well, I didn't get to sing all that much, which was fine by me, but I think hearing all the other songs and seeing Jemima's emotion in the songs really helped me. Like, that's my kind of character. Like, I was just there to boost the mood up for her a bit. But, I mean, filming especially, when I saw her coming down the aisle, wow, crying her eyes out, I was a bit like, now I have to match this emotion. But I think, you know, all the emotions in all the other songs really helped me have more emotion, I guess. I'm really bad at this. You could have given me a better question and I would have still given you like, a really simple answer. Yes. Like, I don't know what you... But yeah, thanks.
That's right. Surprise, surprise. Adam's written himself the last and
course he
extra
did.
question.
I'll answer it. What was the question?
I did not write these questions.
No, he would never do that. Now that the film is completed and screened, what impact or emotions do you hope the audience takes away from him and her?
I did write that one. I did want to end it with like a...
Is there a particular message or feeling you aim to convey?
I know I said I wrote that, but I forgot what the question was.
Sorry, it's only happened to you twice. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, no, me and Ryan jointly decided to end on this question.
Of course.
Because we kind of just wanted to leave it with like kind of what everyone's thoughts were on the message of the film, really. And like, I've kind of touched on it already. It's about, you know, joy and love and celebrations and life and all of those things. And if anyone takes anything from the film, I think it should be that however you grieve, you are 100% valid. And it's a very, very tough thing. Jemima said it in the behind-the-scenes thing that we don't really know how to deal with as a society, and it's a difficult thing to talk about, and people don't like talking about it. So we kind of made this little bit of art in the hope that it would invite people to talk about it a bit more and share their own experiences and just be kind to other people, however they may be grieving. They may not be showing it out as outwardly as you are, but I'm sure they're going through the same things that everyone is when they lose someone. So yeah, it's a film about that, really. It's a film about grieving, and it's a film about love and, yeah, having fun at funerals.
Very insightful, very insightful. Can we have another round of applause for our talented cast and crew? Perfect, perfect. Before they leave, anybody got any questions from the audience? Just one. Perfect,
Wow.
at the back in the middle.
One.
We're expecting that, weren't you?
How long did this whole project take from inception to completion, and how many deadlines did you miss based on everything that's just been said?
All of them. No, it was, I don't know, I think it started, I was approached in, I think, May of 2022, so it was a long time ago. And then we spent, oh no, it was before that, wasn't it? Must have been March 2022. And then me and Dave spent 8 years writing all the music. And then we shot in...
It was about 10 months late, wasn't it?
Yeah, the music was about 10 months late. But yeah, we shot in March 2023. And yeah, here we are now. So it was a long process. But I think it was really worth it for chiseling away at the music and stuff and getting it all good. Sorry, I'm hogging all these questions, but if they're logistical things, I'm kind of the only one who really knows this. Lenny, please.
Well, I think when any piece of art optimizing perfection, and this question sort of goes out to anyone who wants to answer it. Within each of your own sections and contributions towards the film,
That's a very, 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 very good question. There's a number of things, really. Like, the film was originally a lot longer. It's originally about 40 minutes. And there's, like, admittedly, a lot of that could have gone, because, like, obviously, it made sense to you guys. And, you know, if it's 40 minutes and it works at 20 minutes, it's a bit self-indulgent. But there is a lot of stuff in there that I think did add a lot of depth, but we had to lose for like film festival limitations. So quite a lot of film festivals won't take anything under 20 minutes, and that film's 19 minutes and 59 seconds. So it's like we really had to like cut a load of stuff down, and as a result, there are a lot of things that I think don't necessarily flow too well, but as a result of having to chop them out in the edit, really. But at the end of the day, the story works, and I think that's just me being a bit of a self-indulgent artist, really, because like it objectively works, doesn't it? It tells the story. There are a couple of things that I'm upset didn't make it into the final cut, but so it goes. Oh, there's this, Dave asked like what, for the benefit of you guys who didn't hear. There's a couple of moments specifically in Holding Out for Rain, the duet that they sing on the log. We built in this whole instrumental section where Luke, the guy playing Jeremy, has this wonderful little speech, doesn't he? And it was so beautifully timed, and it was a real shame to lose that, because I thought that was like a really important moment to me, where it was like, okay, that was the key transformation moment for Elle as a character, when she had this kind of revelation. And I think it translates in the song fine, but like I would have really liked to have seen that in there. Sorry, your turn.
I can remember when that happened, actually. We were recording in the studio in Portsmouth, and suddenly Luke just spontaneously gave this speech, didn't he, which fit perfectly in the middle. And you know, sometimes you have those moments where the hairs on the back of your neck kind of stand on end. It was one of those moments. And it was probably the most poignant point in any of the recording that we did. It was the most beautiful moment in pre-production, and it never made it into the film in the end, unfortunately. But so there were some really great moments that never made it in.
Yeah, I mean, it still exists on like one. We've got a recording of it. Maybe it will make itself known as like just the track or whatever. Anyone else have anything to add to that?
I mean, there's one bit of choreography. There was only just like one little bit of choreography that didn't make it into it, when Elle kind of like burst through the church and she's all angry, and we had like some really like intense choreography, all really sharp, using all the dynamics, kind of like enhance like her anger, I guess. But obviously, just because of how things go with, shout out to Eleanor for that bit. Obviously, just the way that things go, we then couldn't add it in, had to refilm stuff and that. So I guess that's from a choreography point of view, that's the only thing that maybe didn't really make it in that I would maybe be a bit upset about. But like I say, it's just how it goes sometimes, isn't it? So yeah, save it for the next time.
Sorry, I didn't mean to take that away from you.
Stop talking, Megan.
There's also, most of the songs were cut down about half in length. There were choruses missing and all sorts, so that the song at the end, Not Enough, wasn't as it was intended to be, but it still works because of the pace of the movie. And there was an entire song that we really loved, which was just cut all together, which at one point they just said we need to lose, 2 songs, we need to lose 10 minutes from the movie, and the only way we could do that was just to chop out entire songs, because it just didn't make sense to condense the remaining songs, because they just wouldn't have been songs.
Eleanor, you were next, weren't you?
Do you think you'd ever put together a movie with all the cutscenes into something massive that would be like a longer movie?
I would love to, but sadly none of it exists anymore. We lost all the footage in a hard drive wipe, which was a real shame. Because I would have loved for those to have seen the light of day, seriously, because I just adore so much of them. But sadly that can't happen. However, like, if the short gets any traction, it's a good proof of concept for like something longer. But without going into too much details, the group of us do have plans for something else, something much longer and much more ambitious that will hopefully happen soon. But money, so we'll see. Yeah. Matt?
Yeah, I agree with all the sentiment about funerals being an upbeat thing. Do you think we should campaign for funerals in funerals?
I think Funerals is a good name, and you should get to the trademark office straight away. Funeral, yeah. Yeah, ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, like, I know that was not a serious question, but on it, I think funerals can be whatever the people want them to be. And if you want to have a great all singing and dancing time, as I'm sure you two will, sorry to get morbid, do it. And that's the thing, like, I think they should be a reflection of the person, really, and who that person was, and their legacy, so.
Matt once said to me that he wants on his epitaph best before and then the date that he dies.
That's perfect. I'll do it. Sigh.
This is not a question, this is a statement.
And get out.
When I die, I'm banning everyone from my funeral, so it'll be exactly like one of my gigs. No one else will bloody make that.
Perfect.
I might not even turn up.
Any more for any more? No? All good?
One last round of applause for our Tanzakat's crew. Perfect. Thank you, everybody.